Welcome to our town hall. This is our fourth quarterly town hall. Each town hall that we've had here has been focused on a particular part of what the community is doing, as well as an update in general. I'm Karen Stepper, the mayor of Danville. We're joined here today with our town manager, Joe Calabrigo, who is back there in the back of the room. Who's the reason our town is run so well. We appreciate that. We have a number of commissioners here, and we have some other council members. Renee Morgan is the next mayor, coming on December 6th. She's in the back of the room. She's the vice mayor right now. And over in this corner, we have Robert Storr, who has been a council member and past mayor. Thank you, Robert. A lot of people come from different places and different events.
You have to clap for Robert.
Clap for Robert. So we're vying for who's the most enthusiastic mayor in this town, because everyone loves being mayor in this town. These 25 Weebelows yesterday asked me that very question. I said, well, everyone loves being mayor in this town. It's not like we get paid very much. We spend more than we pay. You do it because you love the way this town runs. And so we want to always make it better, and that's why we have the town hall to get some more feedback from all of you today. So we're going to have a little panel, and I wanted to welcome all the commissioners. If you're on one of our commissions, could you stand real quickly? We have Ken Rezzawali on Parks, and we have Vicki Brooks, who's on Arts, and Kevin Donovan, who's on Parks. Lisa Blackwell is going to be our council member-elect on December 6th, so she's going to be part of that installation, be installed as a council member in Danville, so she can be just as enthusiastic as the rest of us. A special thank you to all the veterans that were upstairs today for breakfast, and I begged them to come down and have dessert here. So could you stand if you're one of the veterans that are in this building that these are all the time, Ron? Yes, thank you. They had a pancake breakfast. I said, well, you got to top it off with these amazing desserts from our new restaurant across the street, which is the one from Sonoma, the Basque restaurant, and they have all kinds of pies for your holidays and all kinds of desserts and great sandwiches, so thank them too. Special thank you to the staff that are here that helped put this together, because Nat is behind the camera right now this morning, because he does whatever someone isn't doing. Nat Reginasa there is the assistant to the town manager. Gianna got a perfect, what did I want to say? She got that new sign made outside too, and assists him. And you're going to have all the other recreational staff and panel introduced shortly, and we'll have our format is we'll just do a quick update for the town on a few issues from last time and new ones, and then we're going to turn it over to the Parks and Recreation and what they are doing in our town to make life better, as it says on these great signs that they have. I forgot to introduce one of our other commissioners. Beverly Kumar's in the back on the Arts Commission too, so thank you, Beverly. So to start, we'll put this on a couple of quick slides, and I don't have, we'll take questions at the end, but if there's something right up there, because some of you I know have to leave, if you have a question, go ahead and ask it. This is our program that I already told you that we would be ending with some open questions and feedback on our Parks and Recreation programs. Kind of that's what our specialty is today. And of course, it's going to be led by Henry Perez Alonso, who's up in the front here, and he is leading all of these programs, for seniors, for little kids, for sports, for all the programs that we have. So he's done famously for this town. I cannot believe the new programs Henry brings. It helps having two of his own little kids, right, Henry? So, as an update, just in a couple of issues then, so we can get on with all of the other areas. We talked about transportation. We always talk about transportation. It's kind of difficult, when you get out on 680 and you're stopped. So we used to say that wasn't going to be an issue, but 680 is important to us, and we're going to have a short little video about what's going on with that and what we're going to do. But this is a picture right in front of San Juan Valley High School, and this is very recent. So how many of you noticed those green signs, those green paint on them? Yeah, but it's not historic Danville green. However, it is supposed to get your attention. It's more like fire engine red and fire engine chartreuse or green or whatever they call that, and yellow. So that's what it's for. And we cut down the amount of green to get your attention better and to make it fit into our town. As we do anything we can is to make it go with the character of this town. So this is the, is this it, Nat?
Yep.
Okay, this is
For
a
more
very
than a
short
year,
video, 1 minute.
For more than a year, the Contra Costa Transportation Authority, or CCTA, has been working with residents and stakeholders to create a plan that will help keep Contra Costa moving, reducing traffic congestion while improving transit accessibility and connectivity to help get us all where we need to go, faster, safer, and more reliably than before. CCTA met with stakeholder groups, hosted public workshops and telephone town halls, and heard from thousands of people online and in person. Based on this input, CCTA developed a transformative 30-year transportation expenditure plan unanimously adopted by its board to improve BART, bus, ferry, and other transit service, invest heavily in fixing and maintaining local streets and roads, smooth traffic on major corridors like Highways 4, 24, 242, and Interstates 680 and 80, improve transportation access for seniors, children, and people with disabilities, create more bike lanes, pathways, and pedestrian walkways to increase safety, and invest in new transportation technologies that will encourage greener ways to travel, protecting the environment and the health of our communities for decades to come. Contra Costa residents came together to create a transformative transportation expenditure plan for the future, a plan that protects the environment, promotes a strong economy, and enhances the quality of life in every part of the county. A plan as diverse and dynamic as Contra Costa County. Learn more about the plan and stay in touch with us at keepcontracostamoving.net.
So Contra Costa Transportation Authority, right now I'm the chair of the Southwest area part of that, the regional. We have been serving on that forever, and that's why we have some of the changes that we have in our roads in this area. So very small staff, 19 to 20 people, and it's all done through contracting for these different projects. So these are the kind of things that we're looking towards for the future because we value the downtown that we have here. And we use BART, right? They used to have 200,000 people. It was planned for 200,000 people a day. They carry 450 almost thousand a day. So now you know why we have a few issues. I know my daughter has a little trouble getting a seat now, but she takes it every day. But you use BART stations, and there's 2 in Dublin. There's the one in Walnut Creek. I use the one in Orinda a lot. So we don't have it right here because we're so close between other BART stations. And if they dug up the freeway to put BART underneath, we would not have our downtown. It would never recover from the length of that construction. So we look for ways that make things work for Danville, and this is what we're looking for coming in the future. So you're reading about autonomous vehicles, okay? So well, that'll come. It's already starting in Bishop Branch. Maybe a second future park and ride, because the one that we thought would never fill up and would always have hockey in the corner is now full because people have buses that go to Genentech, and we have all of the people who are parking for car tools. The expanded traffics program, that's the yellow buses that you see that take kids to school, and it's so popular. We never thought we could grow the bus culture here because it doesn't exist in every school. It's only where we measured the congestion, and it was really high, and we needed to do something to cut down the cars so people could get to work when kids have to go to school. And it is working, it's making a difference. It's not perfect, but it's growing. We have Elaine Schroth in the back used to run that program. Elaine did a great job. She just retired from that, and Judy Lloyd has taken over. But she did a fabulous job, and we're now at 5 buses at Monte Vista with another waiting list. We just can't get on the waiting list. So the freshmen and sophomores, they can't drive to school yet, and they have all these provisional rules. And so it's been extremely popular, and the more we grow it, the less cars are on the road, the better you can get to your jobs too. And then we're looking at some of the BART improvements. We talked about if you're going to have a program that's that old, you read about it. I don't have to go through it. You read it in the paper every day. Something is a problem or breaks down because of the age of the system. So part of this is for getting new BART cars so that there's more of them. And finally, the Iron Horse crossings to make it more safety for those like Elaine who rode her bike here today, so that when you're crossing Sycamore and some of these other things, that there might be an overcrossing someday that'll make it safer here and in San Ramon, because we know you don't just ride this far. I might only ride this far, but some of you ride all the way down to Dublin and beyond. So we have, but probably the most important part of our sales tax initiative from the one we're under now and any in the future goes to our local roads. So we have a very high, what you call pavement index. It's now hit 75. 70 is what we consider the minimum. Then you're repairing roads and you're spending tons more money to fix things than if you had kept it up. So keeping it up has been so important to us that we've been going way over and above and spending $3 million of our, $29 million operating budget to go to our pavements to keep them up so that we don't get into a state of disrepair. So that's a high part of our budget, and some of it comes from this sales tax. 775,000 of it does, but that will more than double if we can do so, and our roads as they get older need more. We've done a lot of parking issues, so I'm just going to minute on that because we talked about it at length last time. We had a big parking survey with consultants coming in, and it's not something we do once and put on a shelf. We do these studies and things like every 5 years. It depends on what the project is, whether it's our police services or what it is. We keep measuring those things. So we had a parking survey, and it told us very specifically how many people are using our lots, and I'm not going to go through that today, at 8, 10, noon. Oh, noon, guess what noon looks like? Looks the same as Friday night. It's called You Can't Park in Danville. Took me a long time to say those words. I thought I'd never say them because you have to drive around and around. And it's worth it because of all our new restaurants. But we made clear that this is our town parking lot and that it has those normal hours because that's the one that's most available. Or at least it was the most available until we had the new restaurants just open across the street, the Danville Hotel, the Danville Brewery, and these are all the different lots that we looked at. And you can see the things we're still going to do. So it's going to be fairly quick because I've already did some of this in other venues. But up there on number 1, we bought the property where Tony's Locksmith was, and we're building the Rose Street parking lot and putting in another 78 parking spaces. It'll be so similar to the one that's behind here on Front Street. We, along Danville Boulevard, not only did we have those nice bike greenery to make it safety measures on the bike lanes, we also put more parking spaces in there. We get rid of some of the red spaces. We put a bulb out, which is kind of confusing, but when you build the concrete out, you don't need as much view space, so you can have more parking spaces on the street. So we're looking for even small things. So get out your Danville Connect that's on your app, on your phone, and when you see a space that you think shouldn't be red or it's too much or whatever, or vice versa, those are the kind of things we can look at and make some minor changes. From the big side, of course, we have dedicated $1.2 million of our budget. Again, big number for us in our town because we are one of the least funded towns around because we are a late funded city. So that will go to San Ramon High School to help them build 200 additional parking spaces so that the students can park on campus instead of park downtown where you want to go to get to your recreation classes, right, Henry? Okay. Then we have the Downtown Employee Parking Permit Program. They mostly park in the railroad lot down here behind the, near Lunardi's or behind the library, but sometimes they would rather park right in front of their store. Not working for the store owners. So we would like to encourage again to get them to park over where they should be that keeps the spots for you. So we're going to go through a program that incentivizes it by having those permits free for a while. And then we have the Village Theater is going to expand because we purchased that property next door, which currently has a law firm business in it. But right away, we'll be able to double one of those sides of the parking along the Village Theater, which is a really prime place. And one of the reasons it's a prime place is because of all of the plays and things that are going. You can hardly rent that building because it's so popular for all the plays and things that are going on. And role players, whom we have one of the board members here, Robert Silverman, right now, is they're putting on Woody Allen's Don't Drink the Water, which I saw the other night, and I kept saying to Robert, I said, I'll announce this because it's only on through the 12th of November, and every time I've gone to one of those plays anymore, it's got better and better, and this one is being recommended for what award?
recommended production by Theater Bay Area, which is the Tony Award organization for the Bay Area.
So big congratulations. And of course, Woody Allen wrote it, and he was in it the second time it was performed. He's not in this one, but I tell you, that actor is almost as good. He really did a great job with it. So we're going to expand those right away, and then later we'll make a larger parking area there, okay? And then the last one is the park and ride, not the new one that we might get someday, but the one that we are able to expand an entire new row of 115 spaces across the back and tie it into downtown so that more employees can park there, more of those bike rides that come where they come and go on a trip from here. So those are the parking changes. We're always looking for new ideas. Here we are in front of Almanac, one of our brand new restaurants right there behind the Village Theater. I had a lunch there yesterday for 25 elected women. It was fabulous. So always encourage you to go. These are two owners that graduated from San Juan Valley High School in their early 30s. And so you want to see our local make good, so to speak. We're going into a branding and marketing plan right now. We're done with the parking study, but we're still changes. But this one is a branding and marketing plan. We just hired a consultant that's in New York and San Diego, as a matter of fact. But they're going to come and learn all about Danville in the next month, and they're going to be looking at focus groups and marketing groups to ask what it is we think makes it so that we could brand Danville so it's known not like the other 43 Danvilles, 23 Danvilles, sorry, across America, but so that it's known, particularly around here, for shopping and all the things that make us special with the character of our historic town. How do we put that into words? We had a Shop Danville local. That kind of got taken by everybody else. We need something, and we don't know what it is, and so we're looking for your feedback for what evokes the character of our town and makes it important so that when we market and when other people, other companies or other restaurants market us, they're using the same picture or the same words so that we can get that consistency. We do this on regional committees all the time. We're constantly working with East Bay Economic Development Alliance trying to develop who's the East Bay. Then we work with the Tri-Valley cities, which is from Livermore to Danville, and we're constantly going back to every year to Washington and saying, this is the Tri-Valley. Unfortunately, they don't have a logo, so we walk in as 5 mayors, and I keep saying, that does not develop a brand. So these people are experts. They're going to help us with that branding. Right now, just a quick on what's happening with the buildings around Danville. These are the Austin Root houses. Remember Viola Root, who ran our telephone operator, like Lily Tomlin, from 1917 to 1952, San Juan Valley High School graduate. Well, the Root family, the first house was done quite a long time ago. That's where Sideboard is on the far one. Now next to it is the Austin Root house, and that's just finishing, and it'll have 3 apartments and some retail on the bottom, which is kind of the model for what the new things are that are going in. Because Danville's built out. We only gained like 300 people over the last 10 years, so we're not into expanding a lot of things, but we do what we can to meet the requirements that we have to for the state and still make it a character of Danville. Nice backside picture now that it's open. You see how easy it is to get in those doors? Okay, well, plan on an 1.5 hour wait to get into Danville Brewery and Pizza Antica. New restaurants are just like a bee to the hive. Quickly, we have the lighting of the old oak tree on Friday the 25th, and there will be singing down there, and then we'll light the oak tree and have all the free music and goodies downtown. So I invite you to that. It's the day after Thanksgiving, so you really need all these goodies to eat the next day. Because you didn't buy enough of your pies from the place that provided these desserts. I've ordered 3 pies from the Basque place. Their pies are absolutely stunning. And then the mayor's installation again, as at the Village Theater on December 6th at 7 p.m. That's certainly open to the public, and we do give awards to people who've been a big part of our community. And some of the people in this room are getting awards, so look around and say, I better go. So hope to see you there. It'll be the turnover. I'll be the mayor for most of the meeting, and then Renee Morgan will be installed at that point, and so will Lisa Blackwell. So it's a fun night, and there's a reception afterwards. So I'm going to go now to Parks and Recreation. Henry's going to talk, and let's have the panel come up that's going to speak afterwards and answer some of the questions. So we have several people coming up. We'll start with Kevin Donovan's been on our Parks Commission for more than 2 years, probably more like 25, right? Yeah. And we have Sarah Guller, who is our youth commissioner, and she's from San Ramon Valley High School and a former youth commissioner of the Danville Youth Council. And we have Beverly Kumar, and she's on our Arts Commission. And I see her whenever we're judging any kind of contest in the community. She's always out there as an extra person. So I guess you can move down one, and Henry can sit here too if he wants to later. So we have other people in the audience. So if we have a question and something comes up and you want to say something, Kent Razawali is long term and does a lot for the trails and parts of the Parks Commission we met earlier too. And Victoria Brooks is like the most enthusiastic arts commissioner ever. So thank you, Henry. Henry's only been with us for 5 years. 5 years, and has made tremendous changes, and he's just on top of everything, and he's responsible for all the new banners down Front Street that say that we're into arts, drama, education, learn, what did I forget? And play. At any rate, welcome him.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Here's the clicker.
Excellent. Good morning, everyone. Again, this is anytime I have the opportunity to come and speak to the public, this is my favorite subject. But today, really, I just wanted to kind of share with everyone what we've been doing with the commissions. I have the pleasure of working with 2 fabulous commissions and a great staff that actually put these things together. I'm just the face to many people who do a lot more than I do, and great stuff. So I think it's fantastic. But I have a fantastic staff and 2 fantastic commissions that we work with. First of all, kind of what is the Parks, Recreation, Arts Strategic Plan? In 2006, the current plan was adopted, and it was an opportunity to have a guideline, a guidebook to let the commissions and the staff kind of reach out and actually create things that would be great for the public, great for the residents. It's 10 years old now, so the commission has had the opportunity to look at this document again and recognize that this is still a valid document, a good living document, and still relevant. But they needed a little update to it. 10 years later, they wanted to make sure that it was a bit more user-friendly, and then also with something like an executive summary, and then some action items, because they didn't want it to be a document that died. This current document is something that's going to live on as kind of a resource. Our new document, though, is going to kind of take in some of the new information that we've gotten over the last year or so as we've reached out. But I just wanted to share that that's something that what we're working on to get to this plan. What we've done so far, we are 3 phases in our process. We have the where we are, what do we want to be, and how do we get there. To take us through and guide us through, we've had commission workshops. We've engaged with residents and kind of asked to have them share their ideas and their priorities. We've done this through intercept events where we went out to the community and we reached out to you. We were out at Starbucks, we were out at the parks. We wanted to get information back from everybody. We also did online questionnaires. So for the whole entire town, we invited them to participate in that. We had stakeholder interviews, focus groups, community workshops, and a staff strategy session as well. All of these information gathering events for us help to create the needs assessment. The needs assessment is something that is an actual document that the commissioners just kind of reviewed, and it was there to help drive the framework of the updated plan. So the needs assessment is much more what you may call kind of the scientific look or the data-driven stuff, whereas the plan itself will be a high-level, actionable item document that we will then use and kind of move forward with. And I'm happy to state that we are currently actually in phase 3 is how do we get there, so that is a good thing for us, and you should be very proud of your commissions to get us there. One of the things I wanted to do as we kind of look at the plan, and before we do that, there are certain things that we need to be looking at specifically, and that is kind of the trends. As we look at trends of what's going on nationwide, and this is information that we've gathered from not only nationwide surveys and researchers, but also practitioners. Looking at that as we move forward, we're looking at trends like programming is really where we're at. So we want to know if someone's going to use a park, it's because we put a program there. So that's one of the biggest determinants for that. For us right now, we're looking at, and we've seen some other cities do this as well, but mobile recreation. Why isn't recreation out at the parks? There's certain, the city of San Francisco is actually having a rock climbing wall that's out there. The city of Oakland is doing the same kind of things. So we also have the ideas and opportunities for our staff to go out there and look to do this as well. Whether it's mobile rock climbing, skateboarding, BMX, disc golf, all those things. Going out to the parks is what people are going to have them use. Then we look at the partnerships, the trends. Partnerships really do increase the capabilities that we have. The partnerships we have currently, as I look at all the veterans in the group, it's fantastic. We have a great partnership with them as well. If you haven't forgotten, this next Saturday, next weekend is Veterans Day weekend, and there's going to be a great big open house that's happening right here throughout with the great living memorial. So take a look at that. We're actually focusing on the Korean War, so we invite you to come out there. But these actual partnerships help to share a vision, and it's actually continues to increase our resources throughout the community. We also have the fact that the parks can aid in successful aging. It's not a secret that right now, one of the strongest trends throughout the United States is the fact that we have an aging population, and Danville's no exception to that. And so we are aging, so we need to start creating things both in the staff side and in the commission side when we're looking at what we're moving forward with is how are we going to serve this population. The other tidbit on that one is the fact that not only the senior population, and I know that we don't like using that word. I know I have, I think my AARP card is in the mail, just waiting for a stamp. It's coming soon, just not yet. But looking at that is knowing that we have a variety of generations within the senior population as well. So how do we get not only the young 50s to all the way through the 80s and engage them throughout? And that's something that nationwide everyone's kind of taking a look at. We also have diversifying our arts programs. It can really support kind of social change. What we're looking at is activating that kind of arts culture and the collections and programs and services that we offer in the different towns and cities. And it also helps to kind of develop, with economic development. Partnerships with schools, with nonprofits, with creative businesses. Those are the things that are happening throughout the nation. Creating events and festivals. And they're moving from the city centers out again to the park sites. So that's what we're seeing nationwide, that these things are happening everywhere. So we're coming to your neighborhood. Yes, there's going to be things that are going to be downtown, the town green, but also why not go over to Danville South? Why not go over to Osage? So those are things that we, as we look at national trends and move on to our own needs and our own visions here, we have to consider. Also, the parks can address public health issues. Our nation is facing health and wellness crisis on many levels. We know that there's high levels of obesity, there's diseases such as diabetes and heart disease that are becoming more prevalent. People sit around a little bit more. I see young gentlemen here, please go outside and play. Get off the computer. But you can see nationwide it's an issue, so it's not just here. But looking at those opportunities for low-cost opportunities to get out and exercise, using our walking loops at the parks, just using our trail, all of those things kind of come into play. And there have been nationwide studies that kind of let us know that neighborhood parks can provide important places for physical activity, just to go out and play. So that's one of the trends. And then also the other trend is street connectivity. I know the mayor is talking about connectivity just through the freeways and things of that fact, but they're also talking about elements of neighborhood design as we move forward. Design and access, such as street networks, connecting the different parks, connecting people to the parks, whether it be through trails or anything like that. It increases park use and again goes back to community health. So those are some of the trends that we wanted to make sure that we are aware of, and I know the commission is aware of that as they go into their own needs assessment and understanding what happened. So again, I mentioned the needs assessment, all the information that was gathered through the residents. We were able to figure out, let's go back a couple here, understanding that there is that changing demographic, as I mentioned before. We're near doubling from, I think between 2010 to 2030, doubling the senior population right here, just through the census. And we have to embrace the fact that we're aging in place and find out what are those best practices. What are we doing that and how are we moving forward with that? We also need to look at and highlight the things that we've heard. What did we hear from the public? What is the input that has come across through our multiple engagement processes that we did? Things that we were hearing from you was the fact that they wanted more concerts, more performances. So that doesn't mean that we're just at the Village Theater. We're looking at Front Street again. Why aren't we doing more performances on the town green? These are just things that we as staff and commissions are looking at to say, can we produce these things for folks? And how do we do that in a cost-effective way as well? Innovative art, public art. That came out pretty strongly, which is I know the Arts Commission was, putting up banners and pretty excited about that, but we're excited about that the culture is changing. We're looking at art as a different way as well. How do we do that and put that in as be a part of our town? Stewardship of activities, such as adopt a park programs or youth leadership programs. Those are things that came out strong for us as well to make sure that we were looking at that as we move forward. Visibility and coordination between town and regional trails. The trailheads and how we connect was pretty big, and we've heard that loud and clear through the information that came back. So how do then we partner with our folks to put things together and create those connections? And then active transportation connections, as it was mentioned before. So all these things, it's kind of interesting how it all kind of blends together for us and we make it work. And then also, analyzing and identifying service gaps. Where are we missing? Where are we missing some things in the parks, in the open space, in the trails, in the arts and culture areas? As mentioned before, we are built out. So it's not necessarily that we're going to put a big old huge park right in the middle of town, which would be really cool. But not to say that we could. But just understanding that and knowing that, hey, even though we have over a quarter of our town is designated as open space, how do we use what we have and recognize our different areas of need? So, and as we do that, we look at, we got recommendations through our needs assessment, focus areas. We looked at how do we provide low-cost, high-impact art and culture performances. As we look at that, we do look at the town green, we do look at the different parks and how we can come out to you. Creating community stewards. How are we going to do that? How are we going to have friends of? Already we have folks that are out there that are helping us out at the Rose Boxes, out at the Osage Station, but we can create those types of friends of programs that will help us to engage in the community with each other. Formalizing our trails and active transportation connections as well. We know that there are things out there that everybody uses. Oh, that's my secret trail, or my secret running route. How do we actually make it not a secret? And actually let everybody else use it too, which would be really cool. And, we want to include everyone. And then also invest in our tiny flourishes. What are those little things that we can do throughout our park system or throughout our town that will make us that much better? Whether it would be as simple as a different type of water fountain that we provide at the park. If you've gone out to the Osage Station, the new playground, you'll see a bottle filler. That's a little new. Or even having the dog bowl. Those are little things that we can do that will make it that much better for us. So our tiny flourishes. Investing in strategic addition to our selected recreation amenities in the town. How are we going to do that? Is it looking at the mobile recreation type things that we want to do, or is it looking at something a little bit more permanent? Or how do we do that? And then again, collaborating with our regional parks and recreation arts entities, those folks that are around us. We can't do this alone, and we can't provide everything for you, but we can certainly try and make sure that we've got somebody that can do that, so we have those connections. So those are the kind of things that kind of came through the needs assessment, kind of driving us forward as we move forward. And really for us, the next steps here is developing the actual plan itself. Like I said, the plan is going to be a high-level, actionable document that both commissions and the staff will utilize to move forward and either create new things or just look at things a little bit differently and how we want to provide it. Right now, working with our consultants, they're drafting up a framework for us. They're doing some of the strategies and some action steps for the commissions because that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to make sure that we were able to move forward and do something with this. And then also looking at different funding strategies. We know that some of these items, there's no projects on the books, so let me just go ahead and say that right now. There's nothing that's on the books at the moment. We're just looking at everything and seeing how we can do this. So with that, there is no funding that's available, but how do we look at the funding? Is it something that is kind of come through town? Do we actually look at grants? So there are different things that we want to look at as a staff and commission to allow us to provide these services. And then also finally, the draft plan. What we're looking at is right now, the consultants have it in their hands. They have all the information they need, putting it together for us with a little outline. Come beginning of the year, January, February timeframe, we should have a little meeting, something to actually for the commissions to look at and comment on. And of course, when that comes out, the public will have the opportunity through our public process to see that as well and make any comments at that time. So that is really kind of a nutshell of where we're at for our Parks Recreation and Arts Strategic Plan. And I thank you, and we give it back to you.
We're going to take some questions from the audience here, and then you can answer some of the questions, and everybody who's here can answer some questions. And we'll ask a few of our own if we need to, because I know some of you have some favorite things and things that you'd like to bring up. So with that, I'd like to kind of turn it over to any kind of questions that you have about parks, about recreations, about our arts programs. A lot of things have been changing here. So, can I take a question here from the audience? Yes.
Hi.
Do we have another speaker? Do we have more mics like we usually have?
You just have to use yours.
I can speak loudly.
You can speak loudly. Okay, here you go.
Yeah, I'm just curious, the recent Iron Horse Trail repaving project was kind of a little disaster. And I know there's a lot of chatter on Nextdoor. I communicated with East Bay Regional Parks people a little bit back and forth. The communication back and forth was just not very good. And I don't think they let the public know what was actually planned to be going on with this repaving, because I know, like I say, on Nextdoor, there's a lot of chatter. it seems the East Bay Regional Parks people can't or don't want to participate in Next Door as like Jeff Gillette, who does I don't know if he's here, but he does a fantastic job communicating to people of Danville. But there was no communication. I was just wondering if how the town of Danville interfaces with East Bay Regional Park, specifically with this project.
It's certainly a huge part of Danville, the fact that it runs down Danville, and you hit it on the head because it's not Danville property, and we do have to cooperate with our partners. So if anybody wants to come in, because we have some people particularly who work with trails. No? Are you on the trails group?
Well, I'm on the Trails group.
Yeah, so he's asking how we coordinate with East Bay Regional Parks, and the fact that we can always pass along. We do meet with these people, both networking, like at the mayor's conference the other night, I was sitting with Beverly, and of course Beverly Lane lives here in town and is at the museum anytime, but they don't communicate in the same way that we do. And I will pass that on about the Next Door in particular. You want to say something about trails?
Well,
And the Iron Horse Trail?
I think one of the things that has come out of the survey is the importance of...
Closer.
Okay. One of the things that has come out of the surveys that we've done and the connection with members of the community is the importance of the trails. And I think your point really kind of reflects that. The communication with East Bay Regional Parks, it sounds like, was just very poor. And as far as alerting people to timetables and things like that, needs to improve without question. And we can get to them and have a dialogue with them on that. But playing off that, as we go forward, Henry alluded to it, the hidden trails, the connections. We want to make sure that as we go forward, we provide additional information so people know where the trails are. The informal trails, the formal trails, whether it's the town, East Bay Regional Parks, or other agencies, and continue to build on those and continue to expand the trail system, because it's an integral part of the recreational experience of everyone here in Danville.
Somebody else want to say something right now? Okay, then I appreciate that, because it means you're going to be part of the solution as we look for some of those new things. And I know they'd opened that bridge fairly recently in Sycamore, at the back behind the new picnic area there, and there's a nice little trail there with a bridge to cross now. It would have been impossible to go down to the gully in the past. So all those things that we do value, a lot of our land gets dedicated to the East Bay Regional Park. When the Elworthy project went in along the freeway there, 90% of that went to the East Bay Regional Park permanently. So when you make those kind of comments, we will pass those on. I appreciate you being part of that. We'll talk to them about Next Door. Okay. Other questions and concerns with parks, recreation? Because you heard Henry say this is not the final answer. We've been collecting all the data. Now we're going to put it together and evaluate. Is there any pieces that are missing? Yes, Robert. Let's see if that one's also on.
Hello, yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Thank you. We mentioned so many times the Village Theater as being a central part of the arts life of Danville. And of course, that's where the Role Players' home is, where we put on our plays. In a partnership with the town, it's been very successful for all of us in terms of revenue generation and also bringing into Danville literally thousands of people, not only who live here, but who don't live here, every year to eat, shop, play, and see a play in Danville. One of the needs that we have, and we can dovetail this into the needs of the town for arts, is to renovate the back of that Village Theater building. It's a historic building, so you can't do too much to change the character, and the front would stay the same. But if we could renovate the back of the building to close it off and provide some rooms back there where we could build sets for role players, and when we're not building sets, you can use that space for acting classes, for ballet classes, dance classes, exercise classes. It would be a multiple use space. We think that would be a very logical application of funding that would have multiple benefits for the community. So I just wanted to make that comment.
Thank you very much. In 2009, we renovated the Village Theater as a historic building. It had never had the foundation connected to the building. So you want to make a comment? And the arts, are you both?
Parks. Well, thank you for that comment. That is something that has been on our radar, thanks to an advocate sitting next to you that brought it to all of our attention as well. So we too think that that's important, and certainly with this new project, that's something that is on our radar, and we can work together toward. So thank you.
Anybody else want to come in? Henry?
Just if I may, I know that when projects like this are there's issues that have been raised to us, one of the great things that the commissions are going to be able to do is look at these different things, prioritize them, and kind of see how we want to move forward with them. But we definitely have heard those and others as well, so we thank you for that.
Thank you.
And of course, it's not just role players. We have the Children's Musical Theater that's been going for 25 years, has Music Man over Thanksgiving too. So it's just, yes, Vicki?
And thank the town for getting the parking next door available for
Oh, so people don't feel like they.
Oh, no, it's
We want them to feel like it's easy to come to a play in Danville, right? Because we don't charge for parking like all of our other cities around here. We really want people to be downtown. So, okay, next questions. Okay, over here. Okay, we got a few people here. Go ahead. No question, comment, or you want to support him, you can stand up too.
I was wondering, when are we going to build a skate park, or are we?
Okay, so we'll turn that to, you want to say?
Mason.
All right, hi, I'm Jacob Ludwig. I'm an 8th grader at Charlotte Wood, and one of my biggest hobbies is skateboarding. And I think it would be great to have a skate park in Danville, so we could go to a skate park. We could get outside, like what Henry said. I think that's his name. Yeah, we could get outside. We wouldn't be inside playing video games. We'd be at the skate park. I think it would be good for you guys because we're not getting yelled at for skating on private property, and we're not potentially vandalizing anything, and we're having fun.
As a parent, yeah, I think it would be really beneficial for Danville to have a skate park because we have to drive our kids to San Ramon and all the way to Dublin, and they have a really great skate park. So I think it would be beneficial if Danville considered that in the future.
Anybody else on parks would like to come in? Sarah?
Yeah, that's a really good point that you bring up, and that is something that we've been looking at and discussing. And I'm glad you brought it up because it just kind of reinforces the need for that, and so we're definitely considering that, and we'll keep that in mind.
Happened when I talked to the Webelos yesterday, I kind of used that as an example of what do people like, what do people not like. Having a son who's 40 and has skateboarded all his life, and he and his neighbors still do. So, you know, it's transportation, so. Vicki?
This age is so important because this age is where some can go bad. We need more this age activities. When I owned Victoria's for so long, there were so many kids skateboarding right in front of my salon, which was very dangerous. And I would ask them, where's your nearest skate park? And they said, it's in Dublin. My mom works, I can't get there. So I think all the parks need a little skate area so they can walk to it from their houses and get near. So if we have a designated skate park, great, but I still think we need some hoops and doops and stairs and stuff. There was only 2 stairs next door. That made them so happy to go off 2 stairs. So that's a little skate area in every park is what I recommend.
Anybody else wanted to comment before we go to other kind of questions here? I know Dublin, I used to coach next to soccer. I still coach soccer here, but I used to coach down there at Emerald Park, and it was next door.
Nice.
It was always full of kids. Anybody else? Okay. Huh?
There's one there.
Oh, there's someone over here has a question. Okay, Dennis.
The work at Osage is fantastic.
Yeah.
Is there anything planned for Oak Hill? And is there any solution to goose poop?
Oh, and who would like to take that question? All right, Kevin, Donovan.
Yeah,
We had a group called Goose Getters, if I remember right. We brought them in from Yuba City. And periodically, the flock needs to be thinned, I guess. And, you know, we're bringing up with Jed Johnson, who's in charge of maintenance, on how we address that. But it is an issue. Clearly, when you're walking around the pond, it's a hazard. Let's leave it at that.
And not just around the pond.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, no, I certainly understand. Relative to the updating of the playground area, was that your second question?
It was a compliment about
Well,
the
in
sage.
general, yeah.
Yeah, okay. The next park that we're going to focus on is Hat McGee. There's some aging of the play structures which require attention over the course of the next 24 months. So that will be the focus point relative to the next playground area that does a renovation. Oak Hill is on the list. We will get there as far as updating that, but Hat McGee will come first. Relative to the young people that raised the question on the skate park, we meet the second Wednesday of every month at 7 o'clock at the town meeting hall. We're meeting this coming Wednesday. It would not be an agenda item, but we open our meetings with "for the good of the town." So by 7:15 you can be on your way. But if you would like to come and essentially repeat the comments you made right here to the Parks Commission, we welcome that. We're in the survey period. It's been raised as an item, but we ask for your active involvement to be advocates for that. And typically we don't do things in 2 weeks, but it's important for us to bring it up, bring it into the town's capital improvement program, CIP, and then ultimately get something done. So look forward to, if you can make it this coming Wednesday or one of our future meetings, and that's all on the town website. We look forward to having you come and become advocates for the skate park, because not only you, but a lot of other people will benefit from it as well.
You know that starts on Wednesday?
Is it 7?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Oh.
And it's at the town hall, which is the next building over.
Right next to the theater.
So it's right here. That's good. The thing that I've been talking to people about, Jan Sario, Jannesario, who created all the parks in Europe that are in line with the environment. They have art in them too, Beverly. Some of them do. Some of them are designed around art, and they're skateboarding around the art on purpose because that's how they designed it. But anyway, you have an open door to talk to people. So thank you. And other questions, because I appreciated Dennis talking, about the park improvement. Because I hope you'll take one of those newsletters in the back that shows you the little town that's now at Osage Park, brand new town, has a bank. I have to ask all the kids. There's like 8 buildings. You just have to read them all from front and back. Because sometimes the bank has the back of the jail or whatever. It's been very clever, and the mesa there is very popular. Kids don't know that name, but they climb all over it and they use it for other things. So the other things include scooters and stuff, which are actually better off at a skate park than where all the little kids are running around. So anyway, I appreciate the compliments, Dennis. Other questions on things, because we have our newsletter is now in print again instead of just online for some people who like to take it with them when they're traveling or taking some of the senior trips. We have a senior sneakers newsletter as well, and that's and whenever I show pictures of our seniors, I'm usually showing them hiking or on a sports team, because that's what it means here in Danville. Very active program that is put together. It's not a sedentary, can't even say it, program. Yes.
Good morning. This is wonderful to have this group, this event. I appreciate it. My name is Carlin Garman. I lived in Danville since 1993.
Good.
I love this place. The reason I'm here is actually meet Henry.
Yeah.
He probably knows my name because for the past 5 years, I've been organizing some dancing events in Danville. Started in Black Hawk Plaza, and it was very successful. We could attract almost 50, 80, 90, 100 people to come and dance, and it was wonderful. And the benefit was for all the stores, restaurants. They had people coming from outside, not necessarily from Town of Danville, but that was very good.
Sorry, could you clarify what kind of dancing?
Tango.
Okay, so we weren't On the same page,
Yeah.
okay?
And on one occasion, I met Mayor Mike Doyle, and he recommended to me that maybe you can have events at this location, Veterans Memorial Building here. And I did that for a number of months. However, the reason I'm here is to ask if there's any adjustment to make towards the fees for this building. It's very expensive having, for instance, when I invite people to come to the dance events from outside Oakland, Walnut Creek, or other areas, they only pay $10, but the rent for this place for 5 hours would be $500. So there's no cost benefit to have this event.
It's free parking. It is free parking, not just on Monopoly.
This is a popular building, so we know that, and it is, and there is a cost that is associated to all of our rentals, and we understand that. And if there's certain things that in programming that we look at, if there's partnerships and things like that, then we look at how things are done. But honestly, the fees are what the fees are. They've been approved, from the council itself. But looking at different things and looking at, as we talk about partnerships in the future, how does that look like? So that's something that I definitely would love to have a conversation with you about, a dance event, and how does that benefit the town. So we can take a look at that. I can't say that the fees are going to be waived at this point or anything like that, but I can just tell you that I would love to have that conversation to see how we potentially could have a tango event here with the town.
Wonderful, thank you very much.
And it's not offered as a class then, from what I heard you say. It's
Well,
a
I have
dance.
had classes
But-
here.
Yeah, because we do have a 60-40%, we try to encourage anyone who has an idea for a class, and the worst skateboard classes, you guys probably don't need them. But if someone has an idea and people will come to it, Henry will be putting it together for you. So I just wanted to follow that up and to tell you how welcome your ideas are.
Okay.
So, other questions here about town, parks, events, anything else that you'd like to see? What would be something you thought was particularly well received that you want to make sure we repeat? Not just things you want to see, but maybe something you want to keep saying. Okay, John, please.
Oak Hill Park, what's the status of the security cameras?
The status of the security stand is. Oh, there's the other one. You want to answer that, Joe, or somebody?
I can.
Okay, why don't you do that? Joe Calabrigo being our town manager.
Yes, yeah.
Here, Joe.
Pardon me, let me just. Right now, the town has an ambitious project that we have undertaken that involves the installation of automated license plate readers at 13 different locations in town that will help us both as a crime prevention tool and then as an investigative tool to help us solve crimes. And as part of that, we're installing some additional surveillance cameras, and one of the locations where we're installing those is at Oak Hill Park. And my recollection, John, is that our maintenance services manager told me on Monday that those have been installed. So I think that we're up and operational there.
Okay, so that sounds like a pretty good answer, John. Already done. Love it. I wanted Henry to end with a couple of questions here to the panel, and then we'll let you go and tell you we really will stay here and answer any other questions that you have, and I'd like to have a little more conversations with the guys up front. But Sarah, would you like to make, and then we'll have Henry make a comment. Can you make a comment on the Youth Council and what kind of things you're giving feedback on this year?
So as a former member of the Danville Youth Council, I was able to meet with my peers and really know what they wanted, and that's where I first heard about the need for a skate park and some art installments, and there's just some really creative ideas that the youth has to offer. And so that's kind of been my focus as the youth representative, is to make sure that the commissioners know about it, so that as we move forward with this update, we're really reflecting the needs of the youth and making sure that they feel involved. And yeah, that's the goal.
So that's a nice translation, because she'd been on the Youth Council, now she's the commissioner that works with Kevin and Kent back here So great job. Beverly, do you have a last comment you would like to make on arts, or something that's special that's coming up for the theater or the
Sure.
gallery?
Well, this is an exciting time, and one of the things that we discovered by being out and speaking to residents was that arts is important in Danville. Cultural events are important. So as we move forward, I know that we're all excited at the expanding opportunities about that. So thank you all for your feedback.
Okay. And Kevin, you have a last comment?
We look forward to input. The survey provides us perspectives as we move forward, but it also gives us an affirmation of what we've done in the past that is generally people like what we've done. We all like the community. We meet, as I mentioned earlier, the second Wednesday of the month at 7 o'clock at the town meeting hall. We welcome everyone to come. We start off our meetings with for the good of the town, which allows you to bring up any issue that is not on our agenda, to express what your thoughts are, what your desires are, what you think the community's needs are. And then from that, typically those items are addressed to the point where, as they develop, we put them on the agenda, staff time is committed to those, and ultimately there's a response to what you're looking for. So while we've gone through the survey and it's been a significant outreach effort on the town's part to the community to get thoughts and to get ideas, let's not let that end with the survey. Rather, let's use the commission and the meetings in reaching out to the commission members, and we're all listed on the website, with your new ideas or thoughts, or if you have an issue. The geese at Oak Hill Park, they are an issue. And I agree with you completely. And it's something that seasonally we need to address. And so, keep reaching out to us. We appreciate the input. And Karen and Henry, thank you for the meeting today. It's been terrific.
Thank you, Kevin, for being part. We did at one point had a dog that was supposed to chase all the geese away. You know, some things just are not long-lived, what can I say? So, but it is exciting, and congratulations to the Parks Commission, because we have now 8 instead of 4 bocce ball courts, all new picnic area out there at Sycamore, and now at Osage we have this brand new playground for the young kids. So, Henry, could you make one comment about our video we started, which we'll probably put on as they go?
Yes, I hope you all enjoyed it
again.
and have seen it. It was our effort, our marketing effort, to go out and let everybody know this is Danville. And we believe that when we saw the final product, we're like, yes, that's it. I think that represents you. It represents the small town atmosphere, outstanding quality of life. It shows how we make lives better, and I just want to thank you for that. Use it, share it, show it to all your friends, and feel free to use it anytime you like, because it's for you too. So thank you.
All right, big hand for and thank you all for coming, and come forward and ask questions. I know Robert Storr had to go to the electric trolley dedication up in Walnut Creek. He's on County Connection. Renee Morgan is still here as a council member. And obviously, many of our staff are here to answer your questions. So use Danville Connect. You will always get answers and updates until your issue is resolved. Thank you for coming. You make it a great town. We appreciate all of you.